It's been too long, my friends. It's been way too long since I've been on the air. Welcome to the Washington Wrestle Talk podcast. I am your host, Mr. Mike Jolly, a.k.a. the Heavy Metal Jesus, the Viking Lumberjack. And welcome to the show today. Excuse me. It is very warm here in Washington today. Took a drink of my Minute Maid Aguas Frescas. Tasty stuff. Now, today's guest, I'm hoping will be calling me here very shortly, is pro wrestler Madi Jewel. Madi will be competing for the IWFA this July. She'll have 2 fights. One against Ash, and of course one against past guest of mine, Sammie The Bull. This used to be called the Fresh Fight Indoctrination. They've had several pro wrestlers in the past, such as Sarah Logan of WWE, before she was in WWE, of course, Santana Garrett, and let me just see. If she's ready to call in yet. I'm just waiting for her to... she just popped on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. I asked her if she was ready. She's supposed to be calling me here anytime. And when she does, we'll get this said interview rolling. Let's see. Nope. Well, shoot. And Sammy's actually sending me messages on Messenger right now. Let me just... She wants my... Oh, I don't want TikTok. And yes, you can see me on TikTok now. Gosh, I've just been having some gnarly issues with my allergies these days. Send. Well, she hasn't responded, so I'm just gonna talk incessantly here about whatever comes to mind when it comes to wrestling, I guess. There will be a big event on September 21st in Las Vegas. It is a fundraiser for Karma Club. It is run, of course, by Hall of Famer, Washington Wrestle Talk Hall of Famer Jennifer Thomas. You can find out all the information via sessiongirls.com, and there's a link to the event page. You can order your own scripted shoot, your own scripted match that you want to see. Jesus Christ! Okay, so now it's the IWFA. I am so sorry. I did not mean to butcher that. I'll have to fix that in the link for the show after we are done here. But yeah, I mean, she said 7 o'clock Eastern, which is 4 o'clock here. and I'm just kind of waiting. So there's been some things happening in the wrestling world of recent. Of course, back at the Royal Rumble this year, TNA's Jordan Grace appeared in the event. And then at the last NXT Premium Live event, Jordan Grace, the TNA Knockouts champion, faced off against NXT champ Roxanne, blah, blah, blah. Roxanne Grace, I think her name is. Roxanne something. Roxanne Perez. In a losing effort, of course. But it also had an appearance by the former Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance. And then this past week on NXT, there was a battle royal to determine the number one contender to Trick Williams' NXT title. And we had an appearance by Frankie Kazarian of TNA, as well as Joe Hendry. Now, what's special about that is Joe Hendry is a very, very accomplished wrestler. He's also a musician. He's also an amateur wrestler. Competed for Scotland in the Commonwealth Games a few years back. It's nice to see him get exposure on a wider scope of things with not only TNA, but WWE as well. He's a former ICW guy, just like such names as, well, in NXT, such as Wolfgang, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey. On the main roster, of course, you have Drew McIntyre, Nikki Cross, Piper Niven, all from Insane Championship Wrestling in Scotland. So ICW is well represented in WWE at this time. All right, so I don't know what's going on here with... I am... Wait. This is going swimmingly, I tell you. I even was able to pay my podcast bill this week. That's good, right? All right, so we'll wait about another 15 minutes or so, and we might have to cut this one off. This hasn't happened to me before with a scheduled guest. Yeah, I mean, the only time I've ever had an issue with an appearance on the show was, of course, when, and I love her dearly, Sybil Starr, but it wasn't her fault. It was the Wi-Fi connection on Fremont Street in Las Vegas. And, of course, it was my birthday. I think this was in 2019, when I was actually celebrating my birthday in Pittsburgh that year. So, but as far as someone running late on a phone call for an interview, that's unheard of for me. I'm not worried about it, though. I am so not worried about it. I'm just here. And of course, if you noticed in the description, there's two links. One is to become a member of the podcast. I believe it's $2 or $5 a month. I'm hoping to get that, and of course, I'll have exclusive, unaired episodes strictly for members. So you can check that out. And also, there's a link for Raycon. Now, Raycon makes these amazing headsets, amazing earbuds, professional grade at a fraction of the cost. So, for example, I paid $79.99 for the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. And let me tell you, they've been a game changer. There's awareness mode, which you can hear everything around you, and it's kind of bizarre to hear, for that, because especially if you're driving or riding on the bus, you can actually hear the wheels on the road. It's kind of cool, actually. And then we have bass mode, pure sound, and let me just put this in to check real quick. All right, so I'm going to pair it real quick. To the phone here. So we have call ended. Okay, so there. I know there's like bass sound, awareness sound. I'm telling Sammie right now, still waiting. So I might be getting another guest here. So I might be having a guest call in. Yes. Thank you, Sammie, for this. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Maddie. Wow. All right, so we do have a guest coming.
Sammie.
Hello.
Hello.
It's been a long time since I heard from you, but welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Yeah, we just hadn't hooked up on Facebook for a while.
Yeah, and I was supposed to have Maddie on the show today to talk about July, but we were supposed to do this at 6 o'clock your time, 3 o'clock here. Then she sent me a message about 15 minutes before that and said, can we push it back to 7 o'clock Eastern? I'm like, sure, no problem. So I never heard back, and so here I am. I've been on the air for about 13 minutes.
Ouch. Well, I know how that's like to have a fighter either not show up or show up late. So,
this is the first time that this has ever happened to me, too, in 5.5 years.
That's surprising, too, because she seems really reliable when I've talked to her.
Uh-huh.
So, maybe something happened.
Yeah, I'm guessing some
control.
Yeah, I'm guessing circumstances beyond her control caused her to. But yeah, I mean, so the one thing I was going to ask her was, how did this come about?
Well, what we've done at Fresh Fight, basically it's, it originally started with Sarah Logan coming to fight. We thought it'd be really cool to have some pro wrestlers come and really fight balls to the wall, full out MMA style, no choreograph, no prearranged endings, things like that. And they know how to rough it up, so you would think that would work out well. And when we had a tournament where Shanna and Santana Garrett came, And that blew the doors out. Those are 4 of our best-selling videos, especially the Shanna versus Santana one, because they came as friends, and they left as non-friends. So, it was a blast. And then Sammie got in the middle of that one and pissed them both off because she put up a great fight. She actually won the tournament, and kind of embarrassed them in a sense, especially Santana. But anyway. We then pulled back a little bit and then brought Ray Lynn and said, let's see if we can really commit to starting a pro wrestler side of Fresh Fight. And I'll tell you, the pros are really hard to get a hold of, and they're hard to get committed. And a lot of the ones, especially the ones in America, they don't really go strong. So, they like the dance and the choreography of it more than the, hey, I want to come and show you that I'm a pro wrestler, but I can still kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
But we had Samantha Heights coming. She had that attitude, and Mila Smith came from France, and she had that attitude. She couldn't beat Sammie, so she just started headbutting Sammie in the chest and doing all sorts of stuff to rough her up. But those are great. We've had Rebel Kell come from Seattle a couple of times, and she's a badass. So we created what we called the IWFA, or the Indoctrination Women's Fighting Association, which is kind of the arm of Fresh Fight that reaches out and tries to attract pro wrestlers to come, either fight some of the women in Fresh Fight or fight another pro wrestler. And so we've not been able to get the duos to come, but we're getting individuals. And Madi Jewel, we've talked to for a few years. She took a hiatus from pro wrestling and then came back. But when you look on the things she's been posting, because she's been shit-talking Sammie for about 2 weeks now.
Oh, she's been doing it longer than that, I've noticed.
Yeah, probably longer than that.
At least 3 months that I know of.
Well, she's been posting, her background, that she's trained in jiu-jitsu, and she's boxing, and she's a fighter, and she's the country girl badass and all these other things, even though she appears to be really sweet and chummy and all that. So she's really stepped up to be what we hope a pro wrestler would be like coming to us. Talking shit, which they're really good at. They're trained at that. And really wanting to fight and really wanting to come back. That's where Sarah Logan was. When Sarah first came, we had talked to her about coming back every other month, and she was all for it. And then she got a big break and went to Japan, and her career kind of took off, and we got kind of left in the dust. But I really could see somebody like Madi coming back every other month and attracting other pro wrestlers to come with her.
Mm-hmm. Now,
so that would be a really cool thing.
Where is she based out of?
She's out of somewhere in mid to south central Tennessee.
Okay, so she's not far from you guys then.
She's probably about 5 hours, maybe 5.5. So she's going to come in the night before. This is a traditional, the way we do it with pro wrestlers is we bring them in either the night before or the day of the first match. And they do a fight, usually on a Saturday night. And then they stay over, we pay for that, and then they do another match on Sunday, and then they go back home Sunday night. So they come in, they get 2 matches, we feed them, we get them the hotel, we pay for their travel. So it's a really pretty sweet deal for a pro wrestler to come. I'll be honest, we pay more than $200 for them to come and do the match.
Jesus.
It's more than that. Plus, we pay the airfare, we pay the hotel. So, but the fans like the pro wrestler matches, so we usually break even or make some money on them. And, it takes some time for things to evolve.
Yes.
So, and we're still working on getting Rebel Kell back, some of the other girls to come back. But a fighter like Madi, who's young and obviously she's really pretty and she's got an attitude and she's got the MMA training, which is really helpful. A lot of the girls that they don't shoot fight in the United States. They don't do the MMA training. Or if they do, they'll say, well, I'm afraid I might get hurt. Well, we've never had a serious injury in going on 13 years now. And these girls get hurt in the ring all the time. It's not like what we're doing is more dangerous. We have rules. We release when a girl taps. We're really careful about, what holds you can't use. And so we want them to rough it up and feel like they can go balls to the wall, but know that they're in a safe environment. And we train all of our women about safety, partnership. Somebody like Rebel Cal or Sarah Logan or Maddie comes, they become part of the team, part of the tribe. They're not outsiders anymore. They're part of the family. And, we've got great photographers, professionals that take some great photos of them before the matches so that they can use those for their portfolio, and then they get great photos during the match. They get all the photos, they get the video. Maddie told me today that she's added a whole bunch of new fans already based on her, crossing over with us, because our fans are wonderful fans. They police things really well. The creeps show up, and our fans just run them off of Facebook. And they really get supportive, and they admire a pro who's willing to cross over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's fun for them to come. Initially, it was fun to bring them for Sammie, so Sammie could have some new toys to play with. And her fight with Sarah was a brawl. Sarah just came out and started smacking her around, and then Sammie got a tap out. The first tap out was controversial. We weren't allowing rear naked chokes, and Sarah got her in a rear naked guillotine type choke. And so we kind of left it up to the fans. Do you want to count that? Do you not want to count that? And Sammie tapped her out, and Sarah was pissed. And from that point on, she just did all she could to beat the crap out of Sammie. And Sammie took it and gave it back. I think the last fall was 20 minutes. And our matches are only 25 minutes. So I think their entire match went over 35 minutes because Sammie wouldn't tap, Sarah wouldn't let up. And we've got other wrestlers like that. Samantha Heights came. Sammie and Samantha Heights. These small, fast, and mean girls are really tough for Sammie, but Samantha Heights came. And they went over 30 minutes without a break. And Samantha trains with guys. It became a brawl. And they were just roughing the heck out of each other. And the more rough Sammie got, the rougher Samantha got. To the point where afterwards, Sammie said, I almost didn't take it another level because every time I took it up a level, she came right with me. She kept beating the crap out of me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. God, I hate allergies, I'll tell you. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, allergies suck. God, suck. So the pro thing, it's kind of like my attitude has always been let the pony run and see where it goes. And so, this is part of the evolution of where we started. I posted one of our first ever match on the internet the other day on Facebook. It was Tia versus a high school wrestler. Small girl. Tia was in a bikini top. We were in an office center. We weren't in a ring. I mean, the evolution of Fresh Fight has been really fun to see when we found our way. Now our gym is a nonprofit gym. Mm-hmm. Because we give women training for free for empowerment to the community. So there's been quite the evolution, and the whole pro thing is just more of that, to see where it goes. Because, on the continuum of women's fighting, you've got all the schlocky stuff way at the one side. Then you've got the soft porn. Then you've got some of the stuff in the middle. Then you've got us, who does everything, we have guidelines and things like that. We're kind of one step below UFC.
Yeah, I was going to say you're just one step below them. But I'd also say Invicta fighting.
Yeah, because we do the cage. That was another crazy thing. I walked into this about 5 miles from the gym. Is an MMA studio called Drive MMA, and I'm sure I'll love the free plug. And they've got some badass people in there. The owner's a former MMA fighter. They've got some women that they've trained and that have gone on. And I stopped in one day with Stina. I figured bring part of the entourage so he sees what the girls are. And I walked in and I said, "Hey, dude, I would love to rent your cage to shoot a video. Would you be willing to let me try it and stuff like that?" And he went, "Oh my God, yeah, man." I said, "How much would you want?" He said, "How about $20 an hour?" And I went, "Holy shit!"
Oh fuck! You gotta be kidding!
$40, and I'm going to use a legitimate cage in an MMA studio, on a Sunday night. He could only do Sunday nights. And I went, oh, my God. So Stina and I left. I was on cloud nine. I had to buy her Chinese food because that's how Stina is. And a couple months later, we had our first cage fight of Sammie and Stina, which is one of our most badass fights. It went 47 minutes. We got down to about 22 minutes, and Sammie was losing. And I thought, we'll give Sammie a chance. First time Stina's ever to Sammie to the point where she had the advantage in score. And I said, well, I'm going to give Sammie 5 or 10 minutes to come back, maybe tie the cage match, because Sammie wanted the cage before she went into the semi-retirement and all that. Well, they went another, I'm doing that here, 16 minutes. And right at the very end, Stina is just beating the crap out of Sammie. Sammie is almost face down. Stina is over her, pounding on her back, pounding on her head with open palm strikes, punching her back, punching her sides. She finally flips Sammie over and gets her in an armbar right as time runs out. She does this, in the middle of the match, she does this wicked leg triangle to armbar transition on Sammie that takes 4 minutes to actually make the hold work. We stop, and the owner and 4 or 5 of his male student minions stand up and applaud. And they were like, we've never seen anything like that. And the guy turned to his minions and says, do you think you guys could fight 47 minutes? You know, and we're like, yeah, what the fuck?
Jesus.
Girls, they lose all track of time and space. It's like they get on the TARDIS and they go somewhere. And, you know, and Stina was just, so now you got Sammie, who's like pissed that she lost to Stina in the cage. We did another cage fight with a pro wrestler, Nina, and Sammie kind of dominated that one. But just to circle back, adding the cage to what we have, along with this badass ring, it's really like, it's like UFC without the face punching. We can kick, we can knee, we can slap the face, we can punch the body. You can't kick the head. You can use the knees in the cage. You can do anything you can do in the cage except punch the face or kick the face. So we are, at that point, one step below Invicta or UFC.
Yeah.
Right, it's very percent.
Oh, jeez, yep.
We would love to do, and we want to do more cage fights. Rebel Cal was supposed to come back and do a cage fight with Sammie, but Sammie was sick, so Cal took on one of our newbies and just schooled her. But what had changed in the year or so that Cal had been gone, and she obviously had learned MMA, because she came back and was throwing arm bars and triangles. And I was like, oh shit. Somebody finally hooked up with her boyfriend who owns jiu-jitsu gyms and said, I think I need to be trained. And she was like, I'm dating a jiu-jitsu guy, and I never go to his gym. And I was like, oh my God, what are you thinking? He came back, and she was a different fighter. She had like embraced the whole thing, which is why I'm dying to get her back. She's 6 foot, 150. She would be perfect with Maddie, who's 5'9", 5'10", 150. That would be a title match, the two of them, for like the Pro Division Championship downstream. You know, I like to say things out loud and hope they'll manifest.
You never know.
You never know. But that's really the story of this. It's been a great thing to have the pros come. They make a good amount of money. They get catered to for the weekend. They get to explore something new. They pick up a whole bunch of new fans. You know, it's hopefully we make it an environment for them where they can go back and say to people, they're not who you think they are, because people think we're customs, and you know, the bad word for customs, or they think we're soft porn, and it's going to ruin somebody's career. Well, obviously, it didn't ruin Sarah Logan's career.
Oh no!
You know, or we're just going to set them up to get their asses beat, which is obviously not true either. So, I actually had one pro wrestler. I'm not going to name her. We had bought her tickets. And then she calls me up and she goes, I've changed my mind. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, my trainer said this is just, you know, soft porn and all this other stuff, and I'm not coming. And I was like, oh, geez. No, it's not that way. And then I said, well, you're going to have to owe me. You owe me the ticket. She's like, I'm not owing you the ticket.
Oh, no.
I was like, well, okay, now I know how you are. Fortunately, I was in a 24-hour window, so I could get the money back.
Yeah.
And cancel the ticket. But I actually had another pro who's going to come, and she got talked out of it, but she paid me back. She PayPal'd me back the cost of the ticket.
Oh, okay, so that's good.
Which was nice. Yeah, but sometimes these people, they have these guys, they get in the way, they decide they don't like the pros going off on their own, or they're suspicious of who we are. Like when Santana and Shanna came, Santana brought her boyfriend/trainer. And, that was great. He was giving her tips all the way along and all that. And when Sammie started to dominate their match, he was just like, I don't know how to help you. It's like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to be doing here? And then nice, sweet Santana started slapping Sammie and pulling her hair and really fighting her. And I was thinking, like, how did that look in front of your boyfriend, and what was he thinking when you came here and all of a sudden this was happening? But we all were friends, and hopefully he had a good time and went back and taught her some things, and we tried to get her to come back. Santana didn't want to come back, unfortunately. Usually right afterwards, they all want to come back, and then sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Like Ray Lynn did that. She came, underestimated this, thought this was rolling around, fakey stuff, got into the middle of it, realized what it was, and then she says to Sammie in the middle of the fight, tap out, Sammie, tap out. And Sammie, who had enough of her attitude, goes, fuck you, bitch. And Sammie ended up dominating the fight. And Ray Lynn said, I want to come back. Can we do a cage fight? I want to punch and kick. And I'm like, oh, my God, yeah. We'll find a cage. Come on back. And then we've never been able to get Ray Lynn to come back either. But, sometimes they also go off in different directions. She's gone off into WOW. She's doing other stuff. And we don't harbor anything. If for anything, we always want anybody who comes here to be successful in their pro wrestling career. And if we can help that, that's great. We're never going to hinder it. If they don't want to come back because they've had good things happen to them, all the better. That's awesome. We've made a good friend. We've got some cool videos of them, and hopefully they look back and say, this was a cool experience. I've seen a couple of them leave us and go join MMA gyms and get more MMA training. I've seen that for some of them. It's like all of a sudden they're like, look at me and my gi, and I'm working on jiu-jitsu, and I was like, hot damn. All right, you got the fever. That's a cool thing.
Yeah. Are there any pro wrestlers that you've tried to contact, like, say, in the United Kingdom? Because I know that might be... because they do, like, the British strong style, which is a hybrid of Japanese and all that. Do you think you could think of any British pro wrestlers that might be a good fit?
I could go digging for that. I've kind of stayed away from the UK and European people. I'm hoping Mila comes back for another U.S. tour, because she was badass. She rocked it. She had a bad shoulder when she came, and that was unfortunate, because I think, because she's got the amateur wrestling background. She was badass. Her videos with Sammie and Ash are badass, no matter... And she's a great... We took her to the zoo. We took her out for ribs. We just had a blast with her. She was great. But yeah, I could do that, because I guess the airfares from the UK are probably not that bad into the US. They're probably not that much different than some of the areas of the US. So yeah, I could be looking for some UK people. Usually if they can come for a weekend, that's great. If I try to catch them if they're part of a tour where they're already coming to the US. But yeah, the UK, that's a good idea. I can do some more circling back for UK fighters. I think sometimes I've tried to friend them on Facebook, and they don't accept it because I'm in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's also really hard to get a hold of these people. I hit them on Facebook, and then they never respond. Or I get them on Instagram, and they don't respond. Or, and I don't want to be the pest that every day I'm like, the Jack Russell Terrier, hey, come. So, sometimes our fans reach out to them where they've got a relationship with them. I send them Gmails. It's really hit or miss as to, and I don't know, they may look at us and go, oh, well, you guys aren't real, so I'm not going to even talk to you. But I'm also trying to we're hooked up with a local group that I think has a strong women's following, and they may be, we've talked to Lainey Luck about coming. She was at a local show. And I think it's me being able to become better friends with them, and that they can network, in conjunction and sort of be, I can give you references as to who we are and what we do, kind of a thing.
Holy crap. I'm just looking at prices, hypothetical. So, like, weekend, third weekend in September, for example. To fly from Cardiff, Wales to Cincinnati on a Friday would be $733.
Yeah, that's about double what we would want to pay. Well, I think I saw one for Maddie, for Mila out of Paris, that was like $400, and I was like, I could get away with paying the $400, but not, $700.
Well, I think, they'd have, it's not round trip either, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's a bigger problem.
And, plus Friday, weekends are always going to be more expensive.
And we can do weekdays if they can. We do practices during the week, so we can, and since, for example, Sammie works for me in our real life, daytime job. So I know when Sammie's free because she's free when I'm free, and we can be free in the evening if it's really that simple. So
yeah,
evenings are good too. I think somebody came in on Tuesday, Wednesday. I know the tournament with Shannon and Santana was a Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, weekdays work too.
I mean, and I found the best tool for finding like airline prices is actually, believe it or not, Google. Which is
I do Google flights.
I mean, Jesus, that's how I do my flights when I travel.
Yeah.
In fact, one of these days I am going to make it to Cincinnati. I hear there's some awesome Cincinnati chili.
Yeah, there you go. We feed everybody Skyline at the end of the trip.
And of course,
everybody gets Skyline. We take them out.
And of course, I have to try the local brews there and review them.
Yeah, there's local brews here. And of course, we got baseball and football. Yeah, it's good. It's a fun town.
It's kind of like Seattle.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Seattle since 2003, but hey, who's counting, right? Well,
it's been a long time for me with Seattle too. I'm trying to think the most recent big city I've been to. Well, I've been to New Orleans, San Diego, and Chicago in the last year and a half or so.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus! In the last year and a half, I've been to New York City, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Las Vegas too many times.
I think kind of breaking up. I don't know if it's you or me. I think it's probably you.
Probably, but yeah, I'm going to have to cut this one short here. And the one thing I told you about the July 7th, the Sunday, July 7th edition, of course.
Yeah, Sammie's all about that.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys wouldn't be on the full day.
Oh yeah, I understand.
It's just, whoever wants to come in, they can come in. Of course, now I can be on for 3 hours, and this is 3 hours per every time I start the program for my podcast, which is kind of cool. It helped when I was in Los Angeles.
You got to walk around the room a little bit. You're definitely going in and out of it.
I think it might be the Wi-Fi. Let me see. Might be the Wi-Fi that's doing it. All right, let's try that.
That sounds better.
Yeah, it was a Wi-Fi. God damn it.
So July 7th, you just tell us the time and we'll be there.
Oh yeah, I'll give you guys a heads up, but yeah, it's a Sunday and it's my birthday. Of course, I'm probably gonna get completely in.
Yeah, things will heat it up by then. It'll be 2 weeks away from Maddie coming.
Oh, even better.
I'll tell you, she's gonna have her hands full with Ash.
That's what
Ash is a girl. We've trained her since she was 14 on and off. And now she's come back in the last 2 weeks and has lost all her baby fat. She's 22 years old, and she's a beast.
Yes.
And Sammie was like, I don't want to fight her.
Yeah. In fact, Sammie said it was more of a match for Ash was more of a match for Maddie than she was.
Yeah, they're the same size, basically. Yeah, their heights and weights are pretty much the same.
But,
so there's another girl, before we get off, there's another pro named Mercy, who's out of Evansville, Indiana, and she's a little thing, 5'1", 110, 115. She's negotiating a Saturday with me now to come up in the next couple of months. So that's exciting. She's small, another one of these small, fast, and mean types. I don't know a whole lot about her, but the fact that she's been responsive on Facebook and wants to come up, and she's about 3-hour driving time, it's great. We're getting more people interested. So I wanted to plug Mercy real quick.
Oh, absolutely.
Her Facebook name is Mercy. It's not. There's no second name to it. It's just Mercy. Red hair, fishnet forearm stockings. Looks like a little badass. She looks like she can play the heel pretty well. So I don't know who we'll give her to. We might give her to Liza, who's one of our up-and-coming, about 130-pound girls, who's been training really well and held Sammie 0-0 in the last live event they were in. Or we may give her to Sammie. But I'll probably give her to Liza first and see how she can do. Because Liza's potentially the new face, and Stina's coming back. Stina it's taken her a while to get back. She's had a kid and been through health issues. But she said, yeah, I want to come back. I really miss it. So once Stina comes back, she may be the one to inherit the face of Fresh Fight kind of crown. But she'll have to fight for it.
Yeah. God, I was going to ask one other thing. Oh, so
get Maddie back. Sammie and I want to hear what Maddie has to say.
Actually, no, I was going to ask about the little training session where Sammie got tapped out by a teenager.
Oh yeah, it was a live event actually. Yeah, we've been training these teens, and it's a pair of sisters that we've been training for a little over a year, and they are really good. They've got dance backgrounds, and they're really aggressive and badass. And one is 16 or 17, the other one is 13. I forget. I can't remember. 16 or 17. So we're doing a tag match. It's Sammie and Cece against 3 teams. So we put the 3 teams up together. We had a brand new team. And the way we do tag teams is you can tag in from 2 sides of the ring for your team, and the other team has the other 2 sides of the ring. So it's anywhere along the 2 sides. So all of a sudden the teams figure this out. If they can keep the girl in their corner, they can rough her up and rough her up and rough her up. And all of a sudden it looks like WWE. They're bringing a girl over there, putting her in a headlock, taking her down, tagging in the other team, bringing her in. She gets in, tries for an armbar, can't do it, puts her hand on the girl's on Sammie's face, puts her knee in her stomach, tags the other girl in, and they're flipping every 30 to 45 seconds. And of course, we have a drill that's like that anyway in practice, where it's Queen of the Ring, where they change every 30 seconds. Well, they're just roughing Sammie up like crazy, and this one team gets in the right spot in the mount, gets the wrist, and before she knows it, Sammie is locked up and is tapping out and stuck in that corner. And it was batshit crazy. But the previous live event, this team had gone 0-0 with Sammie, and so. Yeah, it was really amazing. And then the other thing is, the next round they got a hold of Sammie's partner, did the same thing to her, and tapped her out with a triangle. Well, actually, it was more like what was the hold? It was more like a headlock with a lot of extra pressure. Whatever it was, they tapped Sammie's partner out too.
Oh, jeez.
We're like, holy crap! These teens, and. The place went crazy. There's one guy, Icy, who always comes and wants to see Sammie lose. This was his birthday, and he hadn't been to a live event in 3 years. And he walks in, and it's like there's a picture of him with Sammie on Facebook, and he's just so happy that Sammie lost. It was just for my birthday. What a great present.
Oh, yeah, Icy Frostbitten. I know him.
Yeah, you gotta love it. He's great. He takes the bus to get to us and everything. He's just a treat. So when Icy walked in, I was like, hey, we got pizza, have one on the house, and all this other stuff. But yeah, the teens, Sammie's like, you're training these teens way too well. And all the new girls, I'm like, hey, we're training them, and our training's really effective.
I mean,
girls really learn it, and they practice it, and they love it. And so, yeah, they all have no fear of you. I put the team with her in the live event to get over the fear factor, because it's like, ooh, it's Sammie, all the medals in the gym are hers, and she has this mystique around her, right? She got the reputation and all that. So we got into the 0-0 match, and I said to the girl at one of the practices, I said, okay, all that's done. You held your own with Sammie. Now there's nothing to fear. And so, so now the teams came out together, and they were like, nothing to fear. We're just gonna do it. But to see them get the concept of keep them away from their tag side so they can't switch out, and we can just wear you down and beat you up in our corner. It was, for me, it was like, and Sammie loved it too. I mean, Sammie she loves it when somebody gets good and gets better and gets it. But for me, it was just like to see it click for them. Just like the first time a girl does an armbar in a match and gets excited, to see it click is always, it's one of the reasons we do it.
Yeah.
Because the confidence level, we have parents come up to us afterwards, thanking us for the changes in their daughters. It's really a cool thing on that side of it. So with the videos help us support all that. That's how it's evolved. We went from making videos for the fun and some of the income to where the videos now actually do a lot to help support the gym.
Uh-huh. Well, wow.
Plus, it's badass girls fighting. Rather watch.
Actually, I think I'll wait until the July 7th episode to tell, because I want Sammie to be on too when I announce this.
Yeah, okay.
Very special announcement. It involves both of you, actually.
Uh-oh.
It's all good too. It's good. You will enjoy it.
Sweet.
My birthday gift on my birthday to you two. Well, man, thanks for
a gift on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Well, my friend, thank you for calling in and explaining everything. I'm hoping I can get Maddie on before. I just
2 weeks.
I just don't know what happened.
I don't know. I'm looking on Facebook. She was on for a moment. She's not on now. I poked her and said, "Hey, I jumped on the podcast for the moment. Are you coming?" But she didn't respond. Something must have tied her up because she's been really reliable. So
yeah, because she was on at right before I went live, and I sent her a message that just said, "Ready? Are you ready?" And that was 45 minutes ago, and I never heard back from her.
At 7, like at 7 our time, she was ready.
That's when I sent her the message.
Okay, so not at 6, but at 7.
So she contacted me. It was 5:30 your time, so 2:30 here.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see. No, it was just before we were supposed to start the show at 6. Is it possible to give me until 7 my time? I said, sure, no problem. And she said, okay, great. Sorry about that. And then I saw her again at 7 your time, and I just said, ready, ? And no response.
Yeah, something must have happened at her end, because that's not like her.
I'm not sweating it, Things happen,
Yeah.
And, this is actually my first episode back after all that.
Welcome back. I saw that. Welcome back.
After all that, I've been going through a lot of things here.
Yeah. You've had shit going on.
Yeah, with my mom being diagnosed with ALS.
And then your half-brother, adopted brother with a DUI in jail or something?
Well, he's his 4th in 10 years, and in Washington, it's a Class B felony now. So he is now in State Correctional Facility in Tumwater, Washington.
Ugh.
I just found that out yesterday, and he's been there for a week now. It is what it is, but, I'm glad to be back. I need an outlet,
Yeah, we're glad to have you back.
Well, I thank you, and I appreciate that. I'm actually going to be having another guest here in the next week or so, I hope. I just got to get in touch with her on Instagram. Well, and of course, I am going to be planning a trip here in October or late September, early October. And I think Cincinnati might be a stop for me.
Cool.
I think.
Let us know. I
will, because I'm going to New York City again. I don't know what it is. I love that place, It's so fun. Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to let you go so I can take care of some business around here. And thanks for calling in and saving the show.
Hey, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right, and I'll see you. Let's see. It's going to be 2 weeks from Sunday.
Sounds good.
All right, I will talk to you then.
All right, thanks. Take care, Mike.
Yeah, you too now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the one, the only Gerry from Fresh Fight. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, I honestly don't know what happened to Maddie. It's all good, though. It's all good. But yeah, like I said, it's my first show back in about 2-3 months now. Of course, I did mention that I've been going through a lot in my personal life here. But I want to thank you guys for listening today. Hope you enjoyed the show. You can check out all my other episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcast, and believe it or not, I'm actually on the Internet Movie Database as well. You can check it out there, or wherever you may get your podcast fix. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I will see you guys on the next episode. Always check I'm not going to call it X, I'm going to call it Twitter. It's Twitter, Elon Musk. At Triple R Product. Of course, check out the link for the members site. And of course, check out the link to Raycon. It's a pretty badass product. And they also make just more than earbuds. They make headphones and all sorts of things. So check them out. And of course, you'll get 15% off your order when you click my link. Well, guys, that's going to do it. I love you all, and take care now. From the Washington Wrestle Talk podcast, I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Yes.